Hi, guys. I think this is really important for Jehovah's Witnesses to know, or even those who are studying with Jehovah's Witnesses. We believed as Jehovah's Witnesses, I know I believed, and they bragged about these things from the stage, that the only way that the Watchtower was able to survive monetarily was by voluntary donations. And so these voluntary donations, it was assumed by me, and I'm sure by others, was highlighted. And the way that they highlighted it was to say that we are the only organization that has secret boxes in the back of the Kingdom Hall in which no one sees what you're putting in. Whereas other religions pass around a collection plate in order that you feel pressured and in order that people put money in, even those that don't have it. And so it was assumed that not only was this the organization of God, we were the chosen religion, but the doctrines and the dogmas that were branded by this religion were made to shock the world because they were extreme. And because they were extreme, and because we believed that it came from the scripture, we stood out. And because no one else accepted these extremes, we believed that because we were the chosen people, that it solidified the fact that we were chosen and no one else was like us. No one else had the truth from the scriptures that showed that these extreme doctrines were from God. And so it made us have more faith in an organization that was really our idol. And no matter what it is that they did wrong or said wrong in the false prophecies or whatever, because they stood out in contrast from the world, proven in their Bible, we believed that they were the truth. And so one of the things that I was kind of groomed into believing that they stood out was something that they inculcated into our minds very often. And that was the fact that other religions that are not the chosen of God take contributions, collection plates at all their meetings, and all they want is your money. But the Jehovah's Witnesses, the Watchtower organization, does not want your money, and we can show you why. Because we do not pass around contribution boxes. And the only way that you give us money is when no one sees you, because we have a little box in the back and no one sees whether you put money in or not. So that makes us different. That makes us special. And that just proves that we are the chosen people. And we're an organization, the Watchtower, that will never ask you for money the way the other religious organizations do. We don't require money and we don't require tithes. So that should show you that we are definitely cleaner than any other organization, and we are definitely chosen by God. But it wasn't until I left the organization that I was to find out that sure enough, just like all these other religions that they spoke against and preached against and judged against, they collected in secret. Now, I'm not going to get into the topic of how it is that they are real estate tycoons and how it is that they sneak congregation kingdom halls from underneath the feet of their parishioners. They sneak their names on the deeds and titles of those buildings of Jehovah's Witnesses. And when those buildings are sold by the congregations that own it, because the Watchtower snuck their name on the deed, the Watchtower now owns the money that is gained from the sale of these buildings. I won't go into the racketeering or the laundering charges that are happening to them all over the country and all over the world. I won't talk about those because those are going to come out on their own. I won't bring up the pedophilia that happens rampant in that organization and how, because they are being sued for millions and have lost millions, just like the Catholic Church that they judged against and preached against. And because of that, they are losing a lot of money and might even potentially become bankrupt within a decade or more. And this is why they're asking you for tithes. But this is something that really shocked me when I discovered it. And it really enabled me to see what a money-making organization this Watchtower of Jehovah's Witnesses is, and how they do not stand out from the rest like they made us think. See, they told us that they do not take contributions. They do not force you to give contributions. That everything is voluntary, and all the money that they've ever made was based on contributions. But later I found out that every time you go to a district assembly or a circuit overseer, there is a price on your head. So for everyone that walks into those buildings, there's a price of $20 per publisher, $10 per publisher, $30 per publisher. And this is why every time, if you know as a Jehovah's Witness, you can testify, every time you went to a district assembly or circuit assembly, they will always give you an accounts report, and they would always tell you that they were short money. You see, I assumed that no one put enough money in the contribution boxes for those assemblies, and that's why they were short for the day. But in truth, they were short because the monies that come from your head for every single person that is in those assemblies, thousands of people, each of them have a door price on their head. And so those door prices are very telling for the amount of money that they make every time they have an assembly. And if they do not make the money at the assembly, then if you remember, there's always an announcement in your Kingdom Hall in which the society asks if you as a congregation are willing to make a motion to send them a certain amount of dollars to cover the cost of the assembly. Well, the money that you raise your hand as a publisher to motion your agreement to send particular monies from your congregation to the Bethel headquarters is to cover the door price for every single person that walks into the assemblies.